want the best for your city. Mr. Wayne Dubose did all he could. Him and Mr. Stewart made sure that the streets were paved. Now, y'all ain't got time for that. They got chuggos all over. They have, and ain't no sense in it. I know they're going to get to them, but when? Dr. Joe Tunnehill, what's all he could? Sometimes didn't even get nothing for waiting on him. And now y'all are coming along, well, we got to get the police chief straight. Now, stop that mess. Mr. Dewey Godfrey did all he could to help our city. Mr. Harmon Wright did all he could. Mr. Sharman Cole, these individuals did all that they could to help our city. And when you think about it, you can do the same. But you got to have your mind made up. And finally, in the 32nd chapter of the book of Exodus, I have to preach a little, but don't they'll talk about it. Moses was getting ready to come down from the mountain. But the Lord had given him, now if you don't know the story, it's the 32nd chapter of Exodus. Read it when you go home, please. Come down from the mountain where the Lord had given him the 10 Commandments. And his brother Aaron was at the foot of the mountain. And there, Aaron had told him, said, take the earrings off. And I wish some of these kids would take them off. They cost more. If you take them off, you get more money for them than wearing them. Take earrings off and take your couplets and everything off. We're going to make a golden calf. And they did. They took it off, and then they made the golden calf. And then Moses came down and he saw what they had put together. He got mad at Aaron, got mad at the rest of the children, and the Lord did too. He said, they are stiff-necked people. Come on, y'all. That's what he said. He said, these are stiff-necked people. They don't want to obey no way. And say, I'm not going to let them go into the promised land. All of those mumblers and grumblers, I'm going to let them stay in here 40 more years. Moses spent 40 years thinking he was somebody, 40 years realizing he wasn't nobody, and 40 years realizing what God could do with somebody that know that there wasn't nobody. Amen, brother. He's coming on. I feel it. I feel it. And then Moses talked to the Lord. He said, you let these children come here and you brought them through everything. To the storm, to the rain, to the Red Sea. And now you're not going to let them go into the promised land. And I believe, y'all, I'm going to teach you a little bit now. The word Jerusalem spelled J-E-R. Listen, listen. U-S-A. United States of America. It's a 9-level word, but 3 of them says United States of America. And as long as the United States serving, as long as the United States praise Him, as long as the United States recognize that it is God who's in control. They ain't in control. God's going to straighten out this business. Now He and Him alone can do. And Moses told the Lord, say, if you don't let them go in the promised land, blot my name out of your book. Now you know what?
Pastor.
Y'all sure got to be close to the Lord.
Pastor.
To tell the Lord to blot your name out of His book.
Pastor.
And the Lord in turn. My time's up?
Yes, sir.
Let me just finish this little bit here and I'm going to stop. And then the Lord told Moses, say, if your name ain't supposed to be in the book, it ain't going in there no way. Get the children together. I'm going to let them go to the promised land because I'm forgiven them. Now we got to have a forgiving spirit. It has happened, forget it. And let's go on and live here in Jasper like I love.
Can we have your attention? The next officer that is subject to the recall is Officer Willie Land. I've already read his the petition against Councilman Land. At this time, we turn it over to Councilman Land to address this public meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Let me just say for the record, from the outset, I am Willie Land, 64 years of age. Been married to Bercy Land for 40 years last month. I have one son, William Corey, and a daughter, Vanessa Land, right here. I've been in Jasper all of my life, on and off. Done some good, perhaps some bad. First of all, let me say, pertaining to the choice, Chief Pearson is more than qualified to serve as the Chief of Police of Jasper. And in fact, was the best person for the job. Chief Pearson had a long and distinguished career in law enforcement. Chief Pearson served over 20 years as an officer with the DPS, Department of Public Safety. During this time, Chief Pearson received numerous accommodations and was promoted many times. Chief Pearson completed over 3,000 hours of specialized law enforcement training. Our accusers have made much of this so-called scoring system that supposedly we did not follow when hired Chief Pearson. This test that they say we misused was never, not ever, approved nor adopted by this city council, nor any other city council in the history of Jasper, Texas. So why should we want to go by some scoring sheet we never saw? No city council has their name on it. No sitting mayor had their name on it. Far as they're concerned, it fell out of the sky. And they could thought, I'm going to swallow that, but they got it wrong. Okay. It has never before. I have never seen use before of the select police chief here in Jasper. This score sheet was created by Joe Widener without our consent or our approval in an attempt to prevent Chief Pearson from becoming the full-time chief. It was created after this council voted unanimously to hire Chief Pearson as an interim chief. It should be noted that Councilman Sayers is not the subject of this recall. He voted for Chief Pearson from the outset for interim, but you only chose the recall 4. Now, the apparent grounds for the recall are that we are incompetent and have committed acts of misconduct and malfeasance because we failed to perform an adequate background check with regards of the criminal background of Rodney Pearson. This is an absolute false statement. Background checks were done. In fact, these background checks were somehow released to the public at large and were then posted on the internet and YouTube and emails and faxes to numerous members of the media and the general public. Since Chief Pearson's private personal files were released to the public, mail out, and his radio station, KJAS, have twisted, distorted, and manipulated the content therein in order to discredit Chief Pearson and this council. Furthermore, that has become apparent is that this controversy began with Mayor Loud and the police chief Darren Honor made a backroom deal, the RJ Hall. What becomes the next chief? To become the next chief? Neither the mayor nor Mr. Hunter had the authority to choose the city's next chief. That decision is left alone to the duly elected city council. It is offensive to us and our constituents that Mayor Loud thought he could tell us who the new chief should be. Enter into the record the Facebook and the emails that showed Hunter and Mayor Loud promised all the job. Enter to the record that he done that. It should be noted that this council has made numerous decisions before hiring Chief Pearson. And our integrity and competence has never been questioned. But as soon as we fail to submit to the desires of Mayor Loud and who he wanted to be chief, we now find ourselves in the middle of a recall process. It has come to our attention that there are numerous irregularities with this recall petition. Many of the signatures appear to have been signed by other people. Also, there are inconsistencies with the date on many of the petitions. There are serious questions as to whether voter fraud has occurred. Now, with something this serious, as you go oust the whole city council, with something this serious, seemed like to me you would have got your dates and all this stuff in order. Then we dealing with government. Likewise, we are very much concerned that this recall effort seeks to remove council members from single-member districts by using the signatures of voters that do not live within our district, picking up land and Adam. Fundamentally, this is not fair. Regardless of how Jasper Charter is written, the people who have elected us, land and Adam, are having their votes stolen from them. Again, you cannot call me. You should not be able to call me. You should not be able to recall me if you never call me. You never call me. Now, they told me when I come aboard, they set guidelines for me, and they give me single member district. They say, don't go across this line. And I campaigned like they told me to. And I had to choose voters from my district. Now, when they come with this witch hunt, they go all over the city after me. Now, how